Hi, I'm Jeff Iosa with Pacer Travel, and it is PTC Race Week. I am standing here on the course, and we are at the marathon mark of your race. After here, you're going to go 10 miles north to Tarpon Springs, and then 10 miles south to finish over here in Weaver Park. Pacer Travel is happy to be a sponsor this year. We'll be sponsoring the food with Jenny Alberts with Medicare. We'll be both sponsoring the hot sauce and hamburgers for the race over here at Weaver Park. Pacer Travel is also excited to bring you the live feed from the finish line this year. We'll be working with Marty from Miles with Marty podcast and putting on a great live feed for you guys so your friends and family can see you finish this year's race. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and tell your friends and family where to go to see the podcast. It will be on the Pacer Travel YouTube channel. If you look at this year's race entry, it is a pretty stacked field on both the male and female side. This week we got to sit down with some of those runners and got to interview them and ask them some fun questions. So here's the interview with some of your favorites from this year's race. Saturdays, we got the males and females of people we think will be running really well on Saturday, and we're going to ask them some questions and interview them. And I think what we'll do is we'll start in the top with, I call you Low. Is that correct? Or is it?
It's a Loan or Loan.
Loan. Okay.
Yeah.
I remember
Some
when we
people
did
call me Low too.
when we did the long haul predictions. Everyone's like, "You're saying her name wrong." I'm like, "I never said her name." All right. She was second at the Trident in 2024. That was what, last month or a month or so ago. The Groundhog Ultra, she was first in 2024. The Arbuckle 100K first. Long Haul 100 2024. This past year, she was second female. I was so scared you were going to catch me on that last loop. You were coming strong.
The mud hold me back.
Yeah, the mud. And then Stinger 2023, 24 hours, she was first and put up 115 miles. And we are looking forward to see what she's going to do at the, the Bulldog 24 hour coming up in November. So a little 2 minutes, a little 2 minute intro for you, or how would you talk about your running experience in 2 minutes?
Hi. No, Jeff, thank you for the invite and definitely putting it together. And excited for this coming up weekend race. Definitely from my running experience, I always love to run, and definitely when I got introduced to the ultra world and the ultra community, absolutely love it. Just love the camaraderie, love the communities, and every single time I'm going to the races, love seeing everybody out there, and just pushing the limits, right? I think that's what kind of like the part that kind of really get me into it is to see what your body kind of capable of when you go such a long distance, the endurance, and the effort, the mentalities that's going there. So that, but for my running, so I think I started ultra. I ran to ultra by I guess by accident. I didn't really know what ultra is back in the day, but didn't really know where it was. I think back in 2011, I think that's I ran my first one. Actually, that was like in Afghanistan when I was deployed there, and I didn't even know that was the thing, right? I just ran, but then later on when I kind of got into it a little bit, like Scott race at and then Save the Daylight race. By Justin's. I think that's kind of the starting of my ultra experience, and I really love running because it's just relaxing and it's get me to de-stress myself from all the work, the stress of work and everyday life as well. In addition to kind of the thrill of pushing my body to pass the limit. But yeah, glad to be here and thank you for having me.
All right. Next, we're going to move over to Keith Lynch. He might be new for a lot of you. because he did not have an ultra on ultra sign up until like a month ago. I know Keith because we train at least once a week together out there on our long runs. But he was first at Lake Baldwin in what was that race in July? He was first at Dirty Bear Run, putting up 39 miles, which was tying the course record. In his intro marathon, was that your first marathon, Houston?
Yeah, that was my first official. Yeah.
He ran, and Greg literally just texted me like a minute ago. I asked him like 30 minutes ago. 256, is that correct?
Yeah.
256 marathon. So Keith's not new to the endurance sports. He's a big cyclist, does a lot of cycling. I say he's when a cyclist yells at me, I say I know Keith, and that usually gets me off the hook from getting yelled at. So Keith, a little 2 minutes about you.
Yeah, just thanks, Jeff. Appreciate being on here with everyone. A lot of respect for everyone, especially anyone that does endurance stuff, especially the ultra marathons. I mean, it'd be awesome one day to run 100 miles in a race. So I think long term that's my goal. But just a little bit about me. Got into endurance sports back in 2019. Did Ironman in 2020, finished top 10% on my first one in Panama City. And yeah, I've always just loved to challenge myself mentally. And, that's what I love about it. And it's just been quite an adventure. Back in, high school, and could have played college basketball, football, but I didn't, so I had to find something else, because when I tore my Achilles when I was about 26, from playing basketball, I knew I couldn't do what I used to love doing. And I'm 43 now, but I'm in the best shape of my life, and my body's responding well, and I'm just excited to do the endurance stuff. So, like I said, if it was fun to do Ironman, I thought I was going to be a one and done, and it's just transpired into other things. I got into bike racing after Ironman in 2020. 2021 did a mix of running. Did my first, trail running with the Ragnar in 2021 after bike racing all year. 2022 did full-time bike racing. My goal was to win a race. I was able to do that. I don't know if you all have heard of Six Gap. It's one of the most coveted bike races or events in northern Georgia. It's 103 miles, 12,000 plus the elevation gain. I was able to finish top 40 in that in 2022. And then really had a significant injury bike racing, and I wasn't doing anything crazy. That's the funny part. But it was a prophetic event where I got, hit a patch of sand when I was about ready to go into my racing season, bike racing in 2023, and broke my clavicle. So I had a plate, I still have a plate on there, had surgery. And then at that moment, I always wanted to do a marathon, and I always wanted to be a sub-3 guy. And so the only other marathon I did was Ironman. And so in 2023, I got a hold of Greg. I call him my mentor. He trained me up early on 2023. And then, we did, and Jeff was part of it. We'd all mix in some training sessions together on Saturdays, obviously. And then, so basically did 9 months of training in 2023 for Houston 2024. And yeah, I hit my time. It was a lot of struggling. That was my first year of fully run training for a marathon, and my legs did not respond well last year at times. So dealt with a lot of adversity. And then I did mix in a little bike racing too that year. But now I'm full tilt, marathon training. And I was a little bummed last year. So like Jeff and Chad and, our group, they all did, I think, a lot of the Summer Slams, the summer series. And I missed out on it because I was bike training. So this year when Jeff and Mike Stork told me about, the ultra events this year in Florida, I was all for it because I always wanted to do something 50K and more. So here I am. So far it's been fun. And, I know the last race, Desi was right there behind me. So it was a lot of fun. It felt like a super exciting race. And I knew if I, would have cramped up more, or let up, he would have taken the lead and won it. So that's what racing's all about.
It was definitely fun watching that that whole race.
Yeah.
Another cool thing about Keith is he's from a little town in California called Auburn. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Auburn, California. They got a finish line for a big famous race out there. So he was actually out there this year when they were racing it.
Yeah, Western States, right, Jeff?
What's that?
Western States.
Yeah, that's it. Western States. And Keith is leading the SummerSlam for the male. So, Keith, if you DNF, I win it. So all you gotta do is finish. You can finish in 12 hours and you still win.
Walk in. Okay.
You can walk it in and you're fine to go. All right, and then we got Chris Stengel, Mr. Run Fluent. I was looking at his list. I'm like, Chris, what didn't you run this year? So we're gonna go down really quick. River to Sea 2024, first place. So he ran that race the same day we all did Dirty Beer. And so that was a 6-hour race. He put up 36 miles too. And then this one I found, this is funny. And Vero Beach, 100K 2024, first place. And then 2023 at Vero Beach, 100-mile, first place. 2022 50K at Vero Beach, first place. So have you won every distance at Vero Beach?
Not the 50-miler.
All right.
But I haven't run it yet. I have two clients. I have
the
two clients.
2025, you're on the 50-miler.
That's a likely possibility. I just haven't put it out there because somebody will come get me.
Well,
We're exposed.
Unlocked that right there for you.
Yeah.
Miami 50-50. He was second place on that. Sweat Swat Swear 2024. I didn't even see what your place is, but you did 4:43, which is a good time.
Yeah, it's like fourth overall, third male, I think.
Forgotten Florida 100-mile. You did a 22:24. The Itch, first place. Long Haul in 2023, fifth place. And if you look at your ultra sign up, you have a lot more races coming up on that. So you got a lot of experience, Chris.
Something with this year, I just really decided that I was going to kind of spread the love to all the RDs in Florida. I've been in Florida for 7 years now, and I've run a lot of the Florida races in the past few years, but I still have traveled a lot for other races. And now that I'm hosting races, I didn't really have a ton of PTO to travel for races. So I said, why not just kind of try to touch a race at least every RD that I know in the state of Florida. So I think we're going to accomplish that this year. So that's pretty cool. Basically wrapping up this year with Pinellas Trail. I'm going back to do Mikey B's little duathlon that's coming up in October just for fun. It's like a paddle, and then ending the year with Bulldog 24 hours. So that's really kind of the A race for the year. But just a little background with me running history wise. I've kind of always been a runner. Took a long hiatus in my 20s, but got back into running in my 30s. Started out thinking I wanted to do road marathons, and then kind of fell into the OCR world and did a lot of obstacle course racing for several years. And then 2016, I think it was, a good friend of mine was help training me up for, I was just going after a PR and a half marathon. And we ended up hitting that in training. So I didn't even end up running the race. And he convinced me to sign up for my first ultra, which was actually a 50-miler. And I really haven't looked back since. I've been doing all ultras since 2016 for the most part. We play on things, Gasparilla and smaller races every now and then, hit some fast stuff. But for the most part, we're going long in the trails. So I've been signed up for PTC like 3 or 4 times, and I've always had to drop it. I do host a race in Ohio now that happens the week after PTC. So last year, I had to get up there early. It's a big single loop 50K, so it takes a lot of prep getting ready for it. But have enough volunteers and help up there now that I'm just going to leave either Saturday night or Sunday morning and make my way back to Ohio. But super excited to run it. It's a little bit out of my realm with all the flat and hard stuff. I usually do well when they throw in some mountains or hills or mud or sand or something. But it's going to be really fun to run with y'all and kind of see what I can do with only obstacle being the heat.
All right. And what you just clicked off 25,000 miles?
I mean, I don't know. How many years did we say that was in?
Oh, I can't remember. Like I was proud of my.
I can't remember. It was like a memory or something that came up, and it was talking about as when I first started running again. I was still running roads at that time, but it was when I first kind of fell in love with the New Balance shoes again. And I don't know how I had 3 or 4 pairs of shoes on the screen and was saying how I hit a couple thousand miles. And then since that date, it had been 24 or 25,000 miles, but I think it was like 11 years. Can't remember.
Crazy. All right. Then we get Joanne, bib number 11. In case you don't know, so if you're watching this and you show up on race day, we give the lower bib numbers to those that have finished have completed the most races. So like Joanne's number 11, Andy, what are you? I have it down. You're number 12. So we got bib number 11, bib number 12. And then the lower the numbers you go, the more finishes people have in the race. So bib number 1 is Karen Levy. She has 7 finishes. And then some other guys, bib number 2. And then Thun Tran, bib number 3.
Jim, is that some other guy you?
Yeah, that's me. All right, so Joe, 2023, she first place at so these are all her PTC. 2023, first place at, let's just say 2021, first place, she ran a 7:53. 2022, first place, she ran a 7:18. 2023, first place, 7:08. So she's our reigning champ for the last 3 years. We only have one other person that has won the race 3 times, and that was Patrick Harabos. And so Joe's going to, we'll see. Joe has a chance to go for number 4. Also at DBR, Dirty Beer, she's been first 3 times. She debuted at Long Haul in 2023. And was that a second place finish, Joe?
I was the third female.
Third female.
Yeah. Amanda Richmond, who you could not get hold of, won that year.
Yeah, Amanda Richmond. Well, yeah. And then you did Rocky Raccoon, right? And yep. Did you beat Luis?
We finished together.
Yeah, but were you in front of him a little bit?
We literally, I don't know, we were like pretty much dead by this point. It was hard to tell what was going on.
All right, Joe, tell us a little about yourself.
Okay, so I never really thought I liked running at all. Like I hated running. I hated the way it made me feel. I grew up dancing, and then when I went to college, I took up martial arts. I did that for a load of years. I taught aerobics, I taught Pilates for a while. And then it was only, my friend was training for a marathon, and I started going out with her and doing the long runs just on a Saturday with her. And because she made running different. So instead of just running fast and feeling like you're dying, we were running really slow, and we were running and walking, and we were talking a lot. So I just did those long runs with her. And I didn't even want to be a runner. I didn't think of myself as a runner, but I really liked that. And I really liked the running and the talking and the fact that you could just go a long way. And we started covering distances. And then 3 days before her marathon, she said to me, "Hey, why don't you sign up to this too? There's still spaces." So I signed up to a marathon, which was Space Coast, 3 days before the start, not really ever having run much or trained much or anything. And I think I finished it in 6 hours and 15 minutes. And after that, I just thought, this is kind of fun. I would love to see what I can do with this. And I went to the library and I got every single book on marathon training out and running, and I read them all. and I figured out which ones I liked best and what made most sense. And I took a plan out of the book. I did the Hanson's plan, and I started like training properly for a marathon. And from there, I like found out. Well, I got to the point where I pushed myself so hard in the marathon, it became really uncomfortable and horrible. And I hated running marathons because you're hurting the whole way. And then I found ultra running, and I found you can go a little bit slower again for longer. And I like the fact with ultra running, when you do something like PTC, it's a real privilege to be out there for that long. To have that ability to spend that whole day devoted just to this and have that time to yourself. It's something you feel really grateful for it. I like that. I like the fact it's always an adventure. No matter what you do, you feel accomplished at the end. It doesn't really matter what time you cross in. When you finish, you know the next day you're going to feel, I did something. I did something really good. And I love that about ultra running. So that's really my running journey.
All right. Then we got Andy Shawley, bib number 12. He is our backyard ultra king. He's fallen in love with that format for a race. And you did Bob's Big Timber, 7th place, put up 150 miles, Death at Dupree. What was that? 175. Is that your PR?
Yep.
Yeah, and that was second. That was this year. And then he's done PTC 2019, 2020, 2023. He's done Capital Backyard Ultra. He just loves that format, the Backyard Ultra. I think I was talking with Chris, and we were talking about you, and I'm like, yeah, he's going to have to run 4.1 miles every hour, and I'm not going to tell you what Chris called me.
I told Andy about that just to get him fired up, by the way.
I saw the text, and then I said, now I'm going to try it for real this time.
I figured you need to do like 6 miles every hour. And then you have a little bit of break. That at least puts you under 8 hours.
Yep.
All right, Andy, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so I basically started with OCR back in like 2012, and I did like over 100 of those, and that was kind of like my main thing for a while. And then I found ultras when I moved to Florida, kind of like 5 years ago. So looking at like 2019, I basically found the SummerSlam. That was the first year I did Pinellas Trail, and that was brutal. I mean, every time I come back to PTC, it's just like a different animal. Like you say, you look at backyards, and you only can go. You can go slow, almost as slow as you want. But, when you try to like race something like this, you got all these different factors that, there's a pace factor. And I definitely gravitate towards the backyards, mostly just because I like to push my limits mentally and physically. And I found that in more like distance rather than speed. I still, I'm still younger, so I can still push the speed when I want to, but, been doing backyards a while. I found a lot of success in there. So I look at see how far I can go, not so much how fast I can go, but yeah. So when I don't have a backyard, or when I'm feeling healthy, I'll still keep coming back to these like SummerSlam races, and they're fun to do every now and then. So I'm kind of like out there doing my own thing. And I saw an opportunity, coming off of Bob's, 4 or 5, maybe like 5 or 6 weeks ago. The body wasn't too beat up, and I was like, well, let's try PTC out again. So I got my crew figured out, and we're gonna try to push the pace this time, and hopefully the body holds up. But yeah, just kind of out there enjoying myself, doing what makes me happy. And I found that in ultra, I found that in backyards, I found that in the ultra community, and especially just the Florida ultra community, because that's really where ultra started for me. I've got a lot of respect for everyone on this screen, and I'm excited to see everybody out there and see, this race has been one of my first ultras in Florida. So I'm excited to come back and do it again for, I think, the 4th time now.
4th time. Yep. That gives you bib number 12.
Yeah.
All right, then we get Desi Wilson. Desi, I didn't know you were 30 years old.
Yeah.
I kept thinking you're like 20, 24, 25 years old. Like, he's a young one. He's got plenty of time. You're still young. You still got a lot of running. We kid. Me and I think our group are like, Desi's going to win he's going to win this race many times. Give him 1 year. Let's just have one more year before Desi just overtakes this race. So, Dirty Bear last month, he went toe to toe with Keith and put up 39 miles, tied the record held by David Whiteside. Great job on that. And then you dipped into the trail races a little bit this winter. Long Play Trail Run, which is one of my favorite courses out there at Croom. First place in 2024. First time we saw you was PTC 2022. You took off like a rocket at the start, and
too ambitious.
I know you've learned a lot since then. And, when we're out on our training runs, Chad likes to follow you, and Chad will be like, "Did you see Desi? He did 30 miles at a 7:30 pace in Flatwoods." And we're like, "What?" On that. All right, Desi, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, I also did Croom's full 50 miler this year as well. I finished first in that. I finished like 7.5 hours.
I forgot that one. That one doesn't get on Ultra Sign Up.
Yeah, no. But that was a great race. Because Long Play and that race were my first trail ultras. I've mostly been road. I did Pinellas 2 years ago. Last year I was injured, so I couldn't do it. And then I did Big Dirty Beer Run for the first time in like 2019, I think. But what originally got me into ultra running was I ran a half marathon and I was like, I like this. This is far, but I want to go further. And then 2 weeks after my first half, I signed up for another half and ran that. It's actually when I moved to St. Pete. I did Run Fest, and then I saw that there was the Clearwater Running Festival 50K at the beginning of 2019. I was like, I'm just gonna sign up for this. I haven't done a marathon, but let's just go for the 50K. And then after that, I was kind of hooked on like doing the distance because it was for me about like pushing myself and seeing how far I can run. And over the past couple of years, I've done some marathons. They're fun, but I do prefer running longer, like 4 or 5 hours. That's kind of like 5 to 6 is kind of like my favorite time to run. Occasionally I'll do a marathon, but right now I'm just like sticking to that ultra. And this year has been great for running with me, like running for me. So I'm just gonna, keep doing that. I do want to do Legacy in November, so that's what's coming up after Pinellas. But yeah, for me it's just about pushing myself, and I know I can get faster, so just trying to figure out how I can do that in the next couple of years.
Yeah, I think I was talking to Chad about this. I go, when Desi runs his first 100, I want him to tell me because I want to be there.
Yeah.
So when you sign up for your first 100, put me on your crew.
I will let you know.
What's that?
I will let you know because the furthest.
Please let me know. Please, I would love to be there.
Because the furthest I've ran so far is earlier this year. I'm in this track club called Out of Pocket Track Club, and we did this like mental health awareness like fundraiser, and I ran on a treadmill from sunrise to sunset, and I did like 70 miles just on a treadmill all day long. So that's the furthest I ran so far, but 100 maybe next year.
All right. Next year. We'll find one for you. All right. And then finally, Chad Hupsher out of Dunedin, Florida, which my hometown, only a mile from me. Chad is a new dad, so if he looks like he's tired, how old's this? 3 months?
No, he's 5. I mean, new dad times 3. So, yeah. So this one's 5. He's 5 months now.
That's why we always kid. Chad only has time for 1 run a week, so he does 20 to 22 miles on that, and that's all he needs. So with that 22 miles a week, he was 3rd place at Dirty Bear this year. on that, putting up 36 miles. At the Lost 118 around Lake Okeechobee, he was second. And would you 22:50, 52 or something?
Yeah, it's like 21:50, something like that.
I just edited the video this week.
Yeah.
I can't remember what I put on there. So if you go to the
around that.
Yeah, his video, we just popped his video this week up there. PTC first place in 2022 with a 6:54.14. And long haul, his first 100-mile debut in 2022, he was sixth place. He's also a doctor. He does vasectomies. He's done mine and my crew chief, or our crew chief this Saturday. So Chad, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I just want to say, Jeff, as I've told you many times, when you came in for that vasectomy, you had the biggest belt buckle of any of my patients. So, I guess my running journey started. I went to Palm Harbor University High School. I'm a local. I was always in the JV cross country. Never made varsity, and then just kind of ran throughout my 20s. Moved here, nothing too intensely. Then I actually randomly heard of PTC like 3 days before the race back in probably 2019 or something. 2020. And I was like, you know what? I live in Dunedin. It's 25 miles from the start. I can walk home if I need to. I'm just going to sign up. And so it was literally 2 days. I think on that Thursday, I signed up and I walked down, picked up a bib from Luis, who obviously now I know who all these people are. I just put it on and just took a ride down to St. Pete for the start and just made my way up to Dunedin with the plan of quitting. And then looking back, there was someone who's like kept telling me at the aid stations, and don't quit. You can just walk the rest, or you can run the rest. You'd be really upset with yourself if you quit, if you DNF'd. I think looking back, it was probably Vinny actually, who's the guy who's doing it. But since then, I just fell in love with the distance and just trying to push myself. And really, from every single run that I do, you learn something new about yourself that I really enjoy.
Cool deal. All right. I kind of have some questions I've come up with for you guys. We're going to kind of go around. We'll start with Andy on that. So everyone's not getting the same question. I have one question that I'll ask you, like not a personal question, but one that's tailored to you. All right. So Andy, in 2019, you ran at 8:26. 2020, you ran at 8:06. 2023, you ran at 8:39. Now, I know last year you were taking it easy. You're running with Clapper. But what's going to be different this year to dip lower, to drop that time a lot more?
Not stopping at the aid stations. I don't think I've never done that. I've never just gone right through. Last time, like I said, I was kind of going easy. I was kind of taking my time, just running with some people, enjoying my company, everyone's company, running with them. And then I just kind of like made my way to the finish and wasn't even really paying attention. I did hit the last 10 miles pretty hard because I kind of like saved myself getting through that point. And it was kind of fun coming into the finish so strong. This time it'll be different because I've got my brother on a bike crewing with me. We've got some like drops that we're going to have. So it's just going to be all about efficiency this year and see if we can cut out some of that aid station time. And that's going to be the difference for this year versus the previous three.
Cool deal. All right, Keith, this is your debut at PTC. What scares you out there? Anything scare you out there?
Probably just the heat. That can just change anything. So I'm confident in the training that we've done and that you do throughout the course of the year, but really it just boils down to if it's a really, really hot day, which I've done tons of training in the heat, but you're going to suffer, so if there's not a lot of cloud cover, if there's no rain, so it's going to get really hot. I mean, that's why on Saturday I did that. It was meant to be as a blessing to do that afternoon run, with a lot of miles just in pure heat. So, we'll see what happens, but that's why, living in Florida and training in Florida, that's what, separates people. So, but if anything, it's regardless, no matter how many times you do it, however many times you're comfortable with it. When it gets hot out there, it challenges anyone. So, that's really it. So I have a plan in place. I'll have my wife out there. She hasn't been to the other races before. So really, every race that I've done, I've respected the heat greatly and just cooled off more. So I'll take the same approach.
Now, luckily, I know a lot of us in this room, we basically train on the Pinellas Trail. I think Desi trains on South County, Andy, you're Mid County, and then me, Keith, and Chad. I mean, once a month we're running the last 20 miles of the course, Dunedin to Tarpon and back on that. So we're pretty familiar with the course. All right, Joe. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention Joe is our lead female in the SummerSlam series. So same thing, Joe. It's all yours unless you DNF and you're not DNF. So all right. So Joe, your times in 2021, you ran a 7:53, then a 7:18, and then last year you ran a 7:08. And I know I keep bugging you about this, but sub 7. Are you shooting for a sub 7? Because there's only one female has ever gone sub 7, and I think you have a really good chance of going sub 7 this year.
I realize that's just not the way my brain works when thinking about it. Like I will probably do what I do each year, which is just kind of I go off on the start line and I try and find my pace and I try and not look at my watch and I try and really feel it out and feel the pace that feels right. Then I try and think through and about like I have an idea of where times are and where splits are. I'll have looked at the data beforehand and spreadsheets, but I don't have a set goal like that. Like I feel like I can't and as far as like winning or not winning, I can never control what anyone else does out there. So you have to really and I think it can really choke you looking at other people or getting like caught up on somebody else. Like because you then start focusing on yourself and that just really can crush you, slow you down, and there's a lot of other things. So it's really about like trying to deal with the nerves. I get super anxious about it, so I want to go out there and like find the pace, and you just kind of like hope. That first mile is terrifying because you just want to settle into it and find that pace, and you just hope. I hope it all feels right because you're never quite sure what's going to happen, never quite sure where it's going to land. So just see how that feels, and then the race is like really about making sure you take care of yourself, like you're hydrated, your nutrition, you're keeping cool as much as possible while spending as little time doing that as possible. And then just hope everything falls into place and you can keep your mind in the right place the whole way. Like I know I get like to mile like 8, I always want to be like, it's still going good at this point. Everything feels great. You're hoping you get to mile 18 and you're like, okay, like that discomfort is kind of like setting in. And you don't want it to be. So you're kind of not really admitting it to yourself. And then like you're around that 20 to 25, you're just really hoping your pace doesn't slow. And I really always don't want it to be. But at the same time, you're feeling it a little bit. And maybe so you want to make those adjustments so that you're not really artificially pushing through. So it's just all of those things. That's kind of my approach to how it goes. So yeah, I don't have a set time goal or anything. I just want to do whatever my best is on the day, and I'll definitely be pushing myself. Absolutely. I definitely intend to run over the finish line, having given everything I possibly can, but I don't know what that is yet.
Yeah. Well, you've looked strong at the first 2 races of the SummerSlam, so,
Yeah.
so we're all rooting for you on that sub 7. Chris Stengel, it's your debut at PTC too. We're very excited about that. Glad to have you. Is there a part of the course that you're looking forward to more than any of the other part of the course?
The shaded parts.
That's the morning. Well,
Those couple miles.
The good part about it is if you run on the right side, there's a lot of trees. You get a lot of shade early on. So
yeah. No, I'm just really excited to finally give it a go. Like I said, I don't have any huge expectations for this race. So I'm just going to try to, run my own race and stay within my thresholds and see what happens. I got a few of our clients out there, Andy being one of them. So I'm super excited to just be out there with the team, have some fun, and hopefully, I mean, if we all have good races for ourselves, then we'll end up in a pretty good spot.
Good deal. Good deal. All right, Des, you ready?
Yeah,
Do you know what the course record is offhand?
I do.
Do you know what the pace is for the course record offhand?
Yeah, I do. I've actually talked to Mark about this several times, so
I
know.
saw you follow Mark on Strava, so
Yeah. I mean, I've talked to him a few times here and there, and it's not something I can do this year, but I'll go for it one year for sure. But
Mark put up. I mean that
it's
I got to witness it, which was pretty cool, and I videotaped a lot of it. And we have the video on the YouTube channel of him getting the course record. I mean, Mark's just I can't even explain Mark.
Yeah, he's crazy. Like, I'll do some crazy runs and then I'll get on Strava. I'm like, oh.
Oh, you can't.
This man is doing
I think
insane
one
stuff,
time he
so.
did like 15 1-mile repeats on a track. And you're like, come on, Mark, really?
Yeah, like at 3 o'clock in the morning, you're like, what are you doing?
He just texted me his schedule for the next 6 months for TikTok, the TikTok 12-hour, going after the record there. So, well, good. I like that you know what the course record is. I like that you know what the pace is. I think it's in your cards over the next couple years. I think you got it. So
yeah, like I think my biggest thing is like getting down. I think nutrition has been one of the biggest things for me this year, is just figuring out like what works for me. So, and then obviously some more long runs, and running fatigued. But yeah, I think in a couple years I could do it.
hey, show everyone your shoe collection, because we saw it earlier, but
Hold on. I can actually move this.
jeez.
Yeah. I have a lot.
We'll save. We got a question of later on. We have a question about shoes. All right, Lo, it's your debut at PTC. I was surprised about this. We ran a mile or two at Dirty Bear. You were out there watching one of your runners, and I thought you had run this race. I never knew you hadn't run this race. So I think we're excited for you to come run this race. I know the first time I saw you was at Dirty Bear, and I'm like, who's this girl that keeps running really fast? And we kept waiting for you to crash, and you did not crash. You just ran really strong that day. So it's your debut at PTC. Is there anything you're scared of, or anything on the course that scares you?
Yeah, no, this one I'm really glad that I'll be able to do this year. To be honest, I think I signed up for or wanted to do for a couple years now. It just never worked out with just the weekend work schedule and traveling. So yes, I'm excited to be able to do it this year. Now for the course itself, and I think beside the heat that that in midday. I think I've heard that there's not much shade at the I think the later portion of the course, right?
Yep.
So, and then
well, the faster you go, the more shade you have.
So yeah, I think the heat, and then there's some hill too, isn't it? Right there.
We call them overpasses.
Yeah, they're overpass. There's like a bunch of overpass there.
I think there's 10. There's about 10 overpasses. I think you peak out at about maybe 300 feet of vert. Not each overpass, total.
In total, I said, yeah, I think just the heat, but I'm really looking forward to it. I think that it's one of the race testing out to see how the crewing and work too, because this is also surface. Prepping for my September race, Miami, as well, because I haven't done point to point. So we done kind of stationary loop race. So yeah, I'm But yeah, no, looking forward to seeing everyone out there and run the course. Sound like a very beautiful course and some heat adding to the element as well. So
I say this course is. I say it's a fast course. So it from Dirty Beer to PTC, it is night. It is so much faster. You go so much faster. I don't know. I find everyone runs faster at PTC for some reason. I don't know what it is. But it's I think it's a fast course. So. All right, Chad. So in 2020, your PTC debut, you ran a 10:44. You turned around in 2022 and ran a 6:54. You dropped 4 hours, almost a little less than 4 hours. Do you think you can drop another 4 hours this year off that time?
Yeah, depends on those aid stations. I mean, they give some great support, so I'm looking forward to saying thank you to all the aid station volunteers. But I don't know if they're going to be able to help me that much faster. We'll see.
I think me and Chad are talking. I think we're just going to have a fun run out there on.
So just enjoy. Just be appreciative of the day.
Yeah. And I right there. I forgot to do this before, but I'd love to ask you guys, what other runners? I have a list of runners that I'm watching that aren't on with us. What other runners do you guys know of that we should be watching and that we think is going to do really well in this race? And I have my list, but I'd love to hear from you guys first on that.
Well, you know my answer. I'm pretty sure he's on your list, but I call him my little brother, Gus. He's been a friend of mine since before I even started my business, and he's been my client since day one. Gustav Karagrosis, he's an amazing athlete. He's really new to the ultra world, but he's got a great motor. He's got the mind for it. If he can just stick to the game plan, he'll be up there. So super excited to watch him race.
He's going to be fun to watch out there on that. I said he was looking for a crew. I'm like, just keep up with me and you can use my crew.
we got him one.
You got him a crew. He posted something about that. So that's great. So I love that. So who else do we have?
I mean, female-wise, Katie Hoover, Amanda Richmond, you've mentioned both of them already, have a really good chance. I guess in addition, like just people you don't know, anybody could come, all the people who have 0 ultra sign-up score. Yeah.
Katie Hoover was second place last year, 7:11:34. So she was 3 minutes behind you.
She was leading like the whole race as well.
I didn't know she was leading.
I overtook her 4 miles before the finish. So
And then she was also first place at Sweat Swat Swear, first female in 2024. And then who was the other? The third place, Nikki
Chris Coulier.
Yeah, so she was third last year at PTC.
So she's still young, and I think she's going to do really well sometime soon.
She was second place at Tampa Bay 100 with her sitting in my front lawn. That's the 50-mile aid station for like 2 hours getting her feet worked on. And then she just bounced up and went and got second place in that race. You're like, what the heck happened? Were you pacing her, Andy? I think Andy was pacing her.
I was pacing Clapper.
What's that?
I was pacing Clapper.
You're pacing Clapper, yeah.
There's a couple. I mean, I think there's 2 more. Is Jamie Saunders still registered?
Jamie Saunders I believe she's still on there.
I think the list wasn't showing correctly, but I believe she's not actually doing the race.
Okay.
Otherwise, she would definitely be on my list of people to watch, but that's why I haven't mentioned her, because I don't think she's actually doing it. So
yeah, I'm not seeing her name.
And then Kylie, I can't remember her last name. She was first place female team at Miami 50/50. She's a great runner too.
On that, and then you always got Katie Rosar on there.
Mm-hmm.
So she said she's taking it easy this year, but Katie. So she was first place at Long Haul in 2022. She's won trail races outright. Pretty good runner. I was trying to get her. She was working until 9:30 tonight, so we couldn't get her on that. But she said she's taking it easy. But I think she's going to be running well. We mentioned Amanda Richmond. What was she? Second at Sweat Swat Swear behind Katie Hoover. First at Long Haul in 2023, went in 1947. So that's impressive. Any other females on there before? I know we started talking about the males, but any other females? And like you said, there could be one that we don't even know about that just kind of pops up. All right, males, we talked about Gus. Looking forward to seeing what Gus is doing. Anybody else on that? I mean, I got a list of 4 or 5 on there.
Yeah, Luke Vidal, he's a super consistent runner. I mean, he just kind of trudges away. He hung in all day long at Trident. He was pretty impressive to watch down there. Yep. So he handles
sixth place at Long Haul. Passed me on the last loop and put a huge gap on me on that last loop.
He's tough.
He's ran PTC in 2023. Not a really good time, but I think he's gonna drop a lot of time on that. He's definitely on my list on that. He seems to be getting stronger and stronger the more he's running and the more he's racing.
Yeah, I seen him in a couple race. He's really strong at the end.
Yeah, that's what someone else told me. They're like, watch him at the end. He's gonna basically that last 20, Dunedin to Tarpon and back. He should have a strong race. He should have a very strong race. That should be cool to watch.
I'll throw Vince Carter.
Vince Carter. Oh yeah, Vince trains with us. 5th place at Dirty Bear Run. He won Moon Over Croom 22 miler. And he's on my list because he's been the last couple of weeks when we done 20 milers. Like I can't keep up with him. Like he's pulling away from me on that. I'm like, my goal is to catch Vince, and I nope, can't do it. So plus he has that secret weapon, his cold plunge.
last year, I think it was last year.
What's
he
that?
And I kept. I think it was last year, 2023. He and I had like 2 or 3 races in a row where he was right in front of me, 2 or 3 races in a row. So it would be fun to run with him again.
Yeah, what did he run last year at Pinellas Trail? He was 13th overall. He ran an 8:16 in his debut, so that's a pretty impressive time. So I kid him. He lives, what does he live at, like mile 23? He's like, I'm like, he's going to stop at his house, jump in the cold plunge, and then finish strong after that. I also got like Daniel Alvarez. He's been running really well. He actually ran with the leaders last year at PTC. He's Summer Slammer. He's been running. He's young kid. He's been doing really well on that. Alex. How do you say his last name, Chad? Rosier?
Oh, Keith probably knows it. Rosier?
I think it's Rosier, yeah. I was thinking of him too. If he'll still put up a good time, but honestly, I think he had a bad break going to Massachusetts, so he's been fighting a little bit of a bug or something, but he's going to grind through. He was putting up some great times. He'd done like a 30 and 35 mile run, sub, under 9-minute average. So he's always going to be there.
Yeah, it's his debut ultra too on that. Yeah. So we're excited about that. You guys got anybody else for the males? Like I said, there could be. I mean, there's a lot on that list, so I think it's a pretty stacked list.
Let's put our boy Greg on there.
Greg Caro.
Yeah, I mean, when you factor in the experience, if he's dialing in the nutrition and he keeps it steady, anything can happen.
Yeah. What I say? What bib number is he? I just texted it to the group. I can't remember on that.
I think 15 you said or something.
Yeah, and Greg's a sub-3 marathoner. So
exactly.
We keep telling when he gets that nutrition down and he gets the confidence, he's gonna have a good race on that right there. So we're looking forward to Greg having a good. I think, what does he have to run, like sub-8, and he gets to shave my chest?
That's that right? All right,
that's his motivation.
Oh, that'll be my motivation.
All All right. So now we'll just do a quick round robin of questions, and you guys should just jump in whenever on these. Are you having a crew or are you going uncrewed?
I'll start.
I got a bike crew. Oh yeah, go ahead.
Chris?
Go ahead, Andy.
I just said I got a bike crew with me.
Chris?
I have Evie, so I always call her my cheat code. She knows what I need before I get there. So
I was thinking
I have my wife there, so that's a solid 30-minute advantage for me.
I was thinking that earlier. I'm like, man, Chris has Evie, man. She's
she's a beast
crew on that.
That's what she's doing.
Desi, you got crew?
I'm gonna have my roommate. He's gonna bike with me.
Keith, you got your wife?
Yeah, wife will finally make it out there. She, like I said, missed first two, but she'll have the car, the ice chest, the big old jug of ice water, and then it'll be a bonus if our boy Derek can, crew us out there. He'll be out there on the bike after mile 20, so he's going to run the first 20 with us, and then, of course, Templeton will be out there, so we'll have a mix of guys. Just, it'll be fun.
Yeah, Derek changed his plan. I think he's
what's he doing?
I think he's going to run with you the last 20. He wants to sleep in.
Hey, there you go. Yeah. It might be a little slow for him, but
Chad, I know yours, but
yeah, I'm gonna be bumming off of people's crews around me, basically, using mostly aid stations.
Yeah. I said that today. I think me and Chad are using the same crew for the first 26, and then I'm like, I got a biker, and I'm like, I'm not gonna worry about crew on the last. I'll just use my bike crew for the last 20. I'm like, I'm okay with that. So, Joe, did you get crew?
Yes, I found my friend Megan. She's gonna crew me, so I'm really happy about that, because otherwise I did not have a crew.
How about you, Low crew?
Yeah, my husband and my friend will be out there crewing me, so I'm looking forward to it.
Awesome. Big advantage when you have crew out there on that. So, all right, what shoes are you guys going to be wearing? We'll start again. We'll go around. Chris.
I think I'm running New Balance SC Elite.
Desi, point to the shoes you're running in.
He's a laser pointer.
What'd you say, Desi?
I asked him if he was running in version 4.
Oh.
Yeah, V4. Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna run in the Super Blast 2.
What are those? New Balance?
They're A6.
A6. Okay. I'm so out of it. Andy, what are you running in?
Hoka Rincon. That's what I started with when I started ultras, and that's what's worked for me. So the Rincons all the way.
All right. Keith?
I'll stick what I had at DBR, the On Cloud Monster Hyper. So pretty good shoe.
Chad?
It's a good mix around here. I'm doing Saucony Speeds.
Nice. Yeah. Joe?
Nike Alpha Fly.
Ooh, Nike Alpha Flies. Low?
Hoka Carbon X3.
Ooh, look at that. And I'll be in the Hoka Mach. I don't even know what version I have. I think I have the 3s. I have no clue on that. Whatever one was on sale last month. On that. And then last question. Any advice you have for anyone running this race, how to deal with the heat? Chris?
Obviously, I haven't ran this race before, but I've run several hot races, especially this year. Really, it's just a kind of attacking your whatever your heat plan is early before you start to get overheated. I've kind of done that to a fault. In the past, I wait because you don't want to be super wet using your ice bandanas and cooling techniques, whatever it is. So I kind of have waited too long in my last couple races. So heeding my own advice this time and starting my cooling plan before I actually need it.
Good advice. I wait too long.
And it's like you can't catch up, Yeah. Especially me. I'm a bigger guy compared to most of you guys, and I feel like I just hold heat. So I'm going to start early and often.
All right. Desi, any advice?
Yeah, I mean what Chris said is great. Always start early because it's easier to cool when you're not hot. What I did the first time I did Pinellas was just dump ice. I was wearing like a waistband, and I would just dump ice in my shirt, so I just had ice on my chest and my stomach. Every time because my sister crewed me 2 years ago, so um, just a lot of ice bandana, ice on your head and your hat, in your shorts if you need to, like anything to keep cool.
Cool deal. Andy.
Yep, ice bandanas and monitor your heart rate early on, because once that gets out of hand, it's hard to bring it back down. Like if you're halfway through and your heart rate's all the way up there, you're going to be walking a lot more to keep it down. So keep an eye on that.
Keith.
Yeah, just be aggressive with the cooling. Ice packs, just ice is great. I respected the heat more than I thought I would. At both my last 2 races, so ice down in the pants. I think it's important to ice the legs, the quads. It feels really good. So,
And just so you know, if you're gonna ice down the pants, make sure you put some lube down there so that you don't have as much chafing on that. Chad.
yeah, seriously.
Try to keep a positive attitude as much as you can, and try to just remember it's a privilege to be out there and run those miles.
Yep. And remember, if you get rain, that is a bonus. Rain is a bonus. Joe.
Everything everyone else has said, cooling wise, possibly keeping hydrated and keeping your electrolytes balanced in advance. That can help a lot. And also, yeah, just your mind as well. Your mind can help. It's gonna be hot. It's not gonna not be hot. So
All right, Lo.
Just embrace the heat. Definitely embrace it and be out there. And like everyone say, keep cool early. That's I think definitely the key. And then watch your nutritions. As long definitely electrolyte balance. You lose a lot of sodium, so make sure you get back in it. And then don't let yourself go hungry. So make sure you get some nutritions in there as well, because when your body crash, it's not gonna it's over before you know it. So
yeah,
yep.
I mean that's great advice right there, especially with the heat. Like what Chris said is you don't want to get behind keeping your body cool. Same thing with nutrition, is you want to keep up on your nutrition, because once you fall behind, it's hard to get back on track on that right there. So one thing I'm going to say with the heat is if someone offers you an ice pop, take it and walk out of the aid station, eat an ice pop. That sugar in that cold is gonna make a huge difference. I look forward to ice pops out there on that right there. So all right, that's gonna wrap it up. Thank you guys for joining us, and we're looking forward to seeing you all on Saturday and having a good race out there. Cool deal.
Absolutely.
Definitely. No.
Yeah,
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, not a problem.
Thanks for organizing this. This is fun.
Yeah, I figured it'd be a cool format, just have everyone chat instead of individual interviews on that right there. So
Absolutely. Thanks, Jeff, and thanks everyone. Looking forward to seeing you all.
Good luck.
Yeah.